Hey everyone and welcome back to Benefits Navigator. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Before we dive in, I need to tell you something important. If you're receiving Social Security, SSDI, SSI, or VA benefits, what I'm about to share could directly impact your payments. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about this together. Today, we're breaking down a significant executive order that's making waves across the country. And trust me, this is something you're going to want to understand completely. Let me paint you a picture of what's been happening behind the scenes in Washington. Recently, an executive order was signed that focuses specifically on federal benefit payments. We're talking about Social Security retirement benefits, Social Security disability insurance, Supplemental Security Income, and Veterans Affairs compensation. These are the lifelines that millions of Americans depend on every single month. Now, here's what this executive order is demanding. It's calling for immediate action to ensure these payments continue without interruption. Think of it like this. Imagine you're expecting your monthly paycheck, but there's been some confusion at the bank. This executive order is essentially the boss calling the bank and saying, make sure that paycheck gets delivered no matter what. The order specifically addresses concerns about payment delays and processing issues that have been affecting beneficiaries across the country. We're talking about real people, maybe people like you, who depend on these payments for rent, groceries, medications, and basic living expenses. Let me give you some numbers to put this in perspective. Social Security alone serves over 67 million Americans. That's about 1 in 5 people in our entire country. The average Social Security retirement benefit is around $1,800 per month. For SSDI recipients, it's about $1,400 monthly. And for SSI, it's around $900. These aren't huge amounts of money, but for most recipients, these payments represent 80% or more of their total income. So, when there's any threat to these payments, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a crisis. The executive order tackles several specific areas. First, it demands that all federal agencies responsible for these payments streamline their processes. What does that mean in simple terms? It means cutting through the red tape and bureaucratic delays that sometimes slow down payments. Second, it requires regular reporting on payment status. Think of it like tracking a package you ordered online. The agencies now have to provide updates on where payments are in the system and when recipients can expect them. Third, and this is crucial, it establishes emergency protocols for situations that might disrupt payments. Things like government shutdowns, technical system failures, or other unexpected events. The order essentially creates a safety net for the safety net. Here's a real-world example of why this matters. Last year, during a brief government funding dispute, there were concerns about whether Social Security checks would go out on time. Millions of seniors were worried sick about whether they'd be able to pay their bills. This executive order aims to prevent that kind of anxiety and uncertainty. If you're currently receiving any of these benefits, here's what you need to know. Your payments should continue as scheduled. In fact, the goal is to make them more reliable and predictable than ever before. The order also addresses something called administrative burdens. These are the hoops people sometimes have to jump through to get their benefits. Things like excessive paperwork, long wait times for appeals, or confusing correspondence from agencies. The executive order demands that these processes be simplified and made more user-friendly. For veterans specifically, this could mean faster processing of disability claims and more timely delivery of compensation payments. We all know that our veterans have waited far too long for the support they've earned through their service. For people with disabilities receiving SSDI or SSI, this could mean fewer disruptions when you have to update your information or go through periodic reviews of your eligibility. Now, let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. This executive order doesn't just exist in a vacuum. It's part of a larger conversation about the reliability and efficiency of our federal benefit systems. Over the past few years, there have been increasing concerns about the Social Security Administration's funding and staffing levels. Some offices have long wait times. Phone lines are often busy. Processing times for new applications have gotten longer. This executive order is essentially the federal government saying, we hear these concerns and we're taking action to fix them. It's putting pressure on agencies to do better and to prioritize the people who depend on these services. The order also recognizes something important, that benefit payments aren't just government expenses. They're economic drivers. When Social Security recipients get their monthly payments on time, they spend that money in their communities. They pay rent to landlords, buy groceries from local stores, and fill prescriptions at neighborhood pharmacies. This money circulates through the economy and helps everyone. I know some of you might be wondering about the long-term sustainability of these programs. It's a fair question, and it's one that comes up whenever we talk about Social Security or other federal benefits. Here's what's important to understand. This executive order is about payment delivery and administrative efficiency, not about changing benefit amounts or eligibility requirements. It's focused on making sure the current system works better for the people it serves. The order also emphasizes transparency. Agencies are required to publish regular reports about their performance metrics. This means the public will have better visibility into how well these systems are working. Some critics have raised questions about the cost of implementing these improvements, but here's how I look at it. The cost of not having efficient systems is much higher. When payments are delayed or people can't get through to customer service, it creates stress, financial hardship, and sometimes even health problems for vulnerable populations. So, what can you expect in the coming months? First, you should see more consistent communication from the agencies that manage your benefits. This might come in the form of clearer letters, better websites, or more responsive customer service. Second, if you ever need to contact Social Security, the VA, or other agencies about your benefits, you should find it easier to get through and get your questions answered. Third, there should be fewer disruptions to payment schedules, even during times of political uncertainty or technical difficulties. While these improvements are being implemented, let me share some practical tips to help you stay on top of your benefits. First, make sure your contact information is up to date with all relevant agencies. If you move or change your phone number, update your records as soon as possible. You can often do this online or by calling customer service. Second, sign up for direct deposit if you haven't already. Paper checks can get lost in the mail or delayed by postal issues. Direct deposit is faster, safer, and more reliable. Third, keep good records. Save letters from Social Security, the VA, or other agencies. Keep track of any changes to your benefits or payment schedules. This documentation can be helpful if you ever need to resolve an issue. Fourth, be wary of scams. Unfortunately, criminals often target benefit recipients with fake calls or emails claiming to be from government agencies. Remember, legitimate agencies will never ask for your Social Security number or bank account information over the phone unless you initiated the contact. The implementation of this executive order will happen over time. Some changes might be visible within weeks, while others could take months to fully roll out. One thing I'll be watching closely is how this affects wait times for new benefit applications. If you're currently in the process of applying for Social Security disability or VA benefits, this could potentially speed up your case. I'll also be monitoring whether this leads to improvements in the appeals process. Right now, if your initial application for benefits is denied, the appeals process can take many months or even years. Any improvements here would be huge for people who are waiting for their cases to be resolved. Here's something really important that I want you to remember. Your experiences and feedback matter in this process. The agencies implementing these changes need to hear from real people about what's working and what isn't. If you notice improvements in service, let them know. If you're still experiencing problems, speak up. Many agencies have customer feedback systems and they do pay attention to what people are saying. You can also contact your representatives in Congress. They have staff members whose job it is to help constituents with federal agency issues. If you're having problems with your benefits, don't suffer in silence. Reach out for help. Now, I want to hear from you. What has your experience been like with federal benefit payments? Have you experienced delays or difficulties getting through to customer service? Or maybe you've had positive experiences that you'd like to share. Drop a comment below and let me know. Your stories help other viewers understand what's really happening out there, and they help me create content that addresses the issues you're actually facing. Also, if there are specific topics related to Social Security, disability benefits, or veterans benefits that you'd like me to cover in future videos, let me know in the comments. I'm always looking for ways to provide the most helpful and relevant information. Before I wrap up, I want to remind you that information about federal benefits can change frequently. That's why it's so important to stay informed and connected. If this video was helpful to you, please hit that like button. It really helps Benefits Navigator grow and reach more people who might benefit from this information. And if you're not already subscribed, I'd love to have you join our community. Just click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. I post new content every week covering topics like Social Security, Medicare, retirement planning, and other issues that matter to you and your family. I also want to mention that I read every single comment you leave. I might not be able to respond to all of them, but I do see them and they often inspire future video topics. Remember, you're not alone in navigating these systems. There are millions of Americans who rely on these benefits, and there are people and resources available to help when you need it. Keep taking care of yourselves, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.